So in the recent years, Kia has really been trying to improve their driving dynamics and refinement. And this is a prime example of that. What is up everyone, welcome back to Rpm Geek, and today we are reviewing the 2018 Kia Spotage. Now taking a quick exterior walk around of the Sportage, let's start with the front fascia of the car. So these are HID headlights with daytime running lights. They look pretty awesome if you ask me, pretty Porsche-esque. Kia's tiger nose grille, it's a pretty good looking grille. There's this black piano finish to it, which is pretty good, pretty nice. And it has made its way through all the Kia model lineups. These are the fog lights with these chrome strips. And there's actually these vents which are actually functional, which caught me off guard. They're pretty cool. And finally, the front splitter, which is also pretty aggressive. I mean, Sportage is a pretty aggressive looking car if you ask me, especially in the segment. So it's a thumbs up from me. Coming alongside the car, starting with the side mirrors. Now, they do have an LED strip and an LED turn signal, of course, which is pretty nice, pretty cool. An all-wheel drive badge, telling you that this is an all-wheel drive vehicle. Chrome treatment around the windshield, also some chrome finish around the door handles, some roof rails, and that's basically it. Now coming alongside to the wheels, these are 19-inch wheels with 245 width tires in the front and in the back, which are pretty fat tires. They're pretty good for the Sportage, especially for this power plant. It's nice. Coming alongside the rear of the vehicle, there's nothing that stands out in here. There's just this line that connects the two tail lights. Now it does not actually light up, it's just there for cosmetics, for looks. The Sportage logo, the GDI logo. Now more about that later on, but that's about it. And since we're back here, let's talk about cargo space in the Sportage. Now there's a pretty neat feature that Sportage has, which is the smart tailgate. So if you have the smart key with you and you stand behind the tailgate for about 3 seconds, the tailgate will automatically lift up. Now, taking a look at the cargo space, the Sportage's cargo space is not the biggest in the segment, but it will do. It's pretty sufficient, I think, for most people. There's a cargo cover which feels pretty high quality, pretty nice, pretty good, and an adjustable cargo floor, so you can lift it up and lift it down with the spare tire down there. Now taking a quick look at the Sportage's interior, guys, I am happy to report that the materials used in here are very nice for the most part. You've got soft touches here, leather everywhere, your perforated leather seats, padding, so it feels pretty upscale, up and upmarket in here, which is very nice. Now you do have hard touches when you get to the lower parts, but that is to be expected at this price point. Now the doors are soft touches for the most part, your electronic window switches, one touch up and down for your driver's side only, and your side mirror controls. Now, the leather wheel is a multi-function 3-spoke design leather wheel. You can control stuff such as your Bluetooth connectivity, your volume, your screen in the middle between the gauge clusters, your cruise control, and that's about it. Now, the gauge clusters are very crystal clear and easy to use and read, which I really appreciate. Now there's a center LCD screen which displays very basic information such as your fuel economy, your trip information, your speed, and stuff like that. Very basic information. Now we do have a smaller infotainment system. It is a 5-inch screen. It does not have Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, sadly, nor navigation, but it does have your radio, your Bluetooth connectivity, your settings, your speaker settings. And speaking of speaker, this car has JBL premium speakers, which are a tiny bit bass heavy, but I imagine younger buyers will enjoy that. I know I do. And as you guys can see, this is the rear view camera with adaptive guidelines with front and rear parking sensor, which is pretty cool. Now the climate control settings are very simply and logically laid out. I do quite enjoy using them. Nothing is too complicated. Our USB port, our AUX port, and power outlet with a cigarette lighter. Interesting. we do have also a wireless charging pad. Now guys, this is a feature that I really appreciate that Kia gives you. There's much more expensive cars that does not offer that, so that's a bonus for me. Your two cup holders, your very traditional looking transmission shifter. It's very simple, there's nothing too complicated about it. Your electronic e-brake, your drive mode selector, all-wheel drive lock button, DBC, auto hold, and parking sensors. Now this is a center armrest. It is a bit on the harder side, but it's fine. It's not too hard, it will do just fine. Now speaking of features that make the Sportage stand out, guys, take a look at this giant panoramic sunroof. Guys, it's absolutely massive. Look how much light it brings into the cabin. It really brightens things up. Now taking a seat, rear seats, guys, they are extremely comfortable. There's a lot of leg room, a pretty good amount of headroom, and guys, I'm 185 centimeters, so I think this is pretty good for most people. And you can even adjust the angle of the back seats, and look how comfortable I am. Gosh, this is extremely comfortable. And so you've even got an armrest with two cup holders, which is pretty soft, pretty nice. A power outlet and a USB outlet. This is the USB and the power outlet, with some air vents and nets. Now, driving the Kia Spotage. Powering the Sportage is a 2.4 liter naturally aspirated GDI 4-cylinder paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now the transmission is very smooth. You can barely detect the shifts when you're driving normally and economically. The engine provides a sufficient amount of power. It provides 181 horsepower with 175 pound-feet of torque. I think that's good enough for most people who are looking to buy this car. This is a family crossover after all. Now, the engine and transmission does a good job of reading your mind. It does it best it can. The seating position is very well. It gives you a sense of confidence. This is a compact SUV. It should do that after all. Now noise isolation is also good. Now at higher speeds you can hear a tiny bit of wind and road noise, but that is to be expected in this segment and this price point. Now something to note, that the steering weight is very light. I mean, as it should be. This is a family crossover after all. I imagine most people who buy this car will never drive this car aggressively or in a sporty manner, but we're gonna go ahead and do that, putting the Sportage into sports mode, turning the traction and stability control off, and giving it some gas. I mean, as you guys can see, the transmission kicks down beautifully, very quickly. The engine does a good job of giving you power quickly. And yeah, the steering does get artificially heavier, but it's not too out there. It's just a tiny bit heavier. I don't notice any changes in the suspension. It does not have adaptive dampers or anything like that. But yeah, I mean, it feels very good. Now this is an all-wheel drive, so don't push it too hard in corners, because it does have tendencies to understeer. But I imagine most of you will never do that anyway. Giving it some more gas, and then look at it, guys. I mean, seriously, this is very sporty. It's actually surprisingly sporty, sportier than any car in this segment, and I really do enjoy driving this car. So if you ever decide to drive this car spiritedly, it will not disappoint. I can guarantee you that. So I think the Sportage is an excellent option for younger families, because older people may find the suspension just a tiny bit harsh. But I mean, what can you ask for? Certain touches like the panoramic sunroof, the wireless charger, the smart tailgate, these are all excellent features. I would absolutely recommend this car. I mean, it's very reliable. Kia is famous for their reliability. Their driving dynamics has drastically improved, as we said, and the refinement is really great now. That is it, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this review. We know we did. We'll catch you next time in the next RPM Geek video.